reflect on the North London derby, which was a pretty one-sided affair, it has to be said. Arsenal won it by 4-1. The first hat-trick in the derby in the Premier League era for Arsenal player Berichi Eze, 17 shots to 3. And look at the shots inside the box. 12 from Arsenal, not one from Spurs. That is the first time this season any team has failed to have a shot from inside the box. And that expected goal count of 0.07 is the lowest that Arsenal have faced in any league game this season. Just 4 touches overall in the opposition box. It looks pretty damning on Spurs' count, but how did Arsenal manage to create such superiority in the game, Jamie?
Well, they took advantage of a tactic that Thomas Frank used, not just at Tottenham, but at Brentford as well, where he likes to overload in wide areas. Now, this is what I'm talking about, and this is a perfect example, and every goal had an element of this in it. So what you've got now is Saka 1v1 against his defender. So Palhinha, again, this is a tactic Thomas Frank used at Brentford. The role is to get over here and try and lock the opposition onto this side here and not let them out. So it's 1v1. As Saka comes inside to make the pass, you've now got a situation where it's 3v2. So they're trying to overload in the wide areas and lock Arsenal here. But the quality of Arsenal is so good. The pass from Saka into that space that we'll get back to, that finds Eze, and they should be 1-0 up within a few minutes of the game with Declan Rice. Now, this is the goal. Now, Bentancur and Palhinha in the middle. We talked about this space here, but he doesn't want this ball going back inside. He wants to bring the ball here. And Saliba has a couple of opportunities, but he's not quite sure. Doesn't think the opportunity is right. And again, that was a theme with Arsenal as well. If they don't think it's right, they come back out and start again. Again, he's in this position. Again, look, he's trying to show it here. He decides not to make the pass. This time, Bentancur jumps and tries to be a little bit more aggressive, and they feel like they've got them on this side. The ball comes into Saka, goes into Timber. Stop here now. There's your 4v2. So again, they're bringing players over this side to try and lock Arsenal here. We mentioned Eze before when he made the chance for Declan Rice. Look at the space here. Theme throughout the game. It's a Thomas Frank tactic, but Arsenal were far too good and played through them, had real quality here. You can't get pressure on the ball. The run from Trossard is fantastic, and they find themselves 1-0 up. But again, it comes from that situation on that side constantly.
Jamie, just 2 points. Look at the discipline. That is very easy to talk about how Arsenal found the space. Look at the discipline of the 2 white players. 2 players are going to fix 5 players of Spurs. If you can see now Merino, like this intelligent usage of a false number 9, Eze and Merino, 2 attackers that they will always look to have that mobility and have always a line of 3 10s. Arsenal's got the ball. Watch Merino. Just by that interchange of position, it just doesn't allow any Spurs players. You see it here, they can't get anywhere near, they can't mark. Just a turn, the player is allowed to go forward, it creates a 4v4 from a standing positional play action. Merino will get into the final third, as you would expect. The Spurs really compact, really working hard to try to condense the space. They get into the final third, and that is the moment that Arsenal were never going to force the play. Look at how well positioned, how condensed the Spurs structure is. But the decision of Zubimendi, the decision of Saliba, it was just to stretch and open the space. Look at just 2 passes, opens the forward line, Richarlison. Now this is where Arsenal created a numerical advantage.
So that comes from that comes from basically, sometimes you hear supporters put the ball in the box, but actually the pass that goes backwards, that's trying to entice them, and then you create more space.
So you were showing how they were trying to cover. So you don't want to leave players like Saka, you don't want to leave players in 1v1 situations. So once you create the cover, you're going to leave a space in another area. If you're going to penetrate and be very vertical with your attacks, I think the opposition are going to defend well. Here what Arsenal did well is they managed and they control and they thought about every move. And here it comes the discipline. Again, the 2 white players is a big difference if Trossard here is inside and is engaging 1 centre half. He is stopping the white player to come in. Look at the 3 10s of Arsenal. The centre halves, they haven't got the opportunity to help the outnumbered midfielders, and this is constantly what Arsenal had, a clear direction of how to open the space in between lines of Spurs. From here, three centre-halves marking nobody, creating a lot of work for the two midfielders. One more, we see it once more, the discipline, which is in the positional play of Arsenal, was fantastic. Now we're going to see a completely different rotation. Same players, the 3-10s, here is Calafiori, Eze, and Merino. Saka, watch this movement, how to understand space and having that discipline of the 3-10s, but it will be Merino as a false number 9 that is going to be the wide player, allowing Saka to find space internally. Just watch how Spurs cannot fix any markers, cannot defend, and just Saka, with a lot of space, he can take his one space in the central area, as we mentioned, that was the area where Arsenal took advantage.
And that was just a constant theme, that space on the edge of the box. All the goals, the chances came from that. But the rotation of movements now, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Now, what they do, Arsenal here, and it's really important to keep an eye on Zubamendi and Rice has gone into the back three. Zubamendi is your hold midfield player, don't forget. Here's your two fullbacks, Timber, Calafiori on this side. Here's your two false, or your two number 10s, shall we say. Again, the two wide players fixing defenders at the back, but the rotation of movements. And don't forget, a few weeks ago we were on this show talking about the problem Thomas Frank's got going forward with Tottenham in terms of he can't quite get that rotation right. Let's not forget we're 6 or 7 years in with Mikel Arteta, a few months in with Thomas Frank, but this is absolutely out of this world. The movement and interchanging of positions is fantastic. So we've seen Zubamendi, the hold midfield player, on the edge of the box. He now finds himself high up the pitch. We've seen Declan Rice. Declan Rice is just coming into midfield now. He's been part of the back three. And when you see the positions here, great again from Saka and Timber, but just as this cross is coming in, Timber, there's Zubamendi, your hold midfield player. Let's not forget, at the start of this clip, we highlighted Zubamendi on the edge of his own box. You've now got these two players, Merino and Eze, in the positions we've highlighted right throughout these clips, on the edge of the box, in space. And there's your left back coming in at the far post in the left wing position. The actual movement of players for Arsenal, interchanging the positions, is absolutely fantastic. Timber crosses the ball in, and again, that space is there. Brilliant first time pass from Declan Rice. And that is absolutely brilliant. But that comes from the interchanging of positions constantly.
But look at Jamie, we're going to show Eze a hat-trick scorer, a hat-trick hero. Look at the responsibility of the ball. What was impressive from his performance was that engagement. Look at that. He's prepared now to sprint to the centre half after stopping that internal pass, and now he's going to carry on to the goalkeeper. An attitude that we've seen on players like Dembele winning the Ballon d'Or. Look at the engagement, a creative player, a player that has scored 3 goals, but here in this Arsenal side, Mikel Arteta has created a competitive edge that everybody who's on the pitch need to have that attitude. Watch him here. The ball goes played internally, it will follow the midfielder, He's doing a job for his team. Real focus, understanding that in football, in the modern game, you need to be complete in order to win games. And that was probably the most impressive aspect of that
Roberto,
performance.
with Portugal, you now manage some of the biggest names in world football, certainly in attacking players. How difficult is it to get them to sort of buy into the defensive side of the game?
I don't think it's difficult. I think
Or is it a must now? Is there no...
It is a must, because what we're talking about is that you don't need to be good at the defensive actions, about winning the ball back. What you have to be committed is that intention of helping the team. Nowadays, we've seen it, probably Paris Saint-Germain winning the Champions League. They are a team that off the ball probably the strongest than any. And this is the commitment that the modern players understand, that if you want to be an important player in any team, you need to have that attitude. We're not saying about being good defensively, but you need to have that attitude of being able to be accountable for your team when you...
Thank you, Roberto. I thought that was absolutely fascinating, the two of you, and to see all the different layers that go into a performance like that in such